and welcome to Slovenia for the final IFSC World Cup of 2016. I'm Charlie Bosco, I have Loic Timmermans alongside me and we are live in Kranj. Nestled into a beautiful mountain valley just north of Slovenia's capital, the confluence of the Kokra and Sava rivers, and is home to 37,000 people. The city's life story is long and varied, with evidence of settlements existing here in prehistoric times. Tonight, however, there are 51 climbers lining up to add their names to Kranj's history by claiming a World Cup win. And the reason I say 51 climbers, not 52, is that Sean Bailey of the USA did not make it to the isolation zone in time, and therefore he will not climb this evening. The other piece of news to update you on is that the women's qualification took longer than expected, and as a result, the women's semi-final has been pushed back to 8:30 local time instead of 8 o'clock, which is when the men were supposed to be climbing, so that the women could get their required rest period. As it tells, is actually slightly because the route setters didn't quite have enough time to change the routes, so the climbers just had to wait an extra 5-10 minutes before coming out. So that's the news out the way. No Sean Bailey and the slight delay, but low routes. What with the men's route?
The men's route starts with a bouldery section on some big balls, and then it's quite obvious to the end, and it actually looks pretty obvious route and very endurance. So yeah, actually it looks good. And the girls' route is a bit more old school start, and then some powerful moves to the top. Looks good too, and both routes will, I think, determine who will be the
lead route setter, but Jan's heavily involved as well. And he was saying they are expecting a couple of tops on these routes. You don't always see tops in semi-finals. What was Jan's prediction? Was it 3 on the men, 2 on the women?
3 in the men's and 2 in the women's, yeah.
So that's from one of the route setters. It's the final World Cup of the season. We want to see some tops. So they've moved the route tough. Both routes very physical. The wall here in Kranj, it's much smaller than some of the walls we see. It must be half the size of the one in Imst.
Yeah, but it's still endurance actually. It's pretty powerful, and they usually are making some hard routes, and so the size of the wall doesn't really matter sometimes.
I've seen Sean since we were in Europe back in August, and he came over specially from California for this event. But unfortunately, too late for the isolation. If you haven't watched climbing before, don't forget in the semi-finals in the lead, the route observation down to 20 will start slightly. The women have until 8:30 local time to get their rest after the qualifiers. There's openism, big crowd as you said. We've got different coloured lights. We had a DJ practicing earlier on. I don't know if we're going to see him tonight.
Yeah, that's new.
And the climbers just having a final look. We had the start lists on the screen earlier. You can see there in the grey cap. I think that's Domen Skofic. Yes, it is. And Eddie Folk, the IFSC photographer, you just saw there as well. Check out our Facebook page for an interview with Eddie. Entertaining as ever. Team Slovenia, they had a very good semi-final. I think it's 7 women off the top of my head into the women's semi. Yes, 7 women into the senior semi-final from Slovenia, so home country well represented. And now the slightly comedy moment when the judges try and shoo the climbers off the stage, and the climbers all try and stay on for an extra 30 seconds. So that's their observation period over. And they're now being herded, not very successfully, back into isolation. Yeah, as I say, if you haven't watched climbing before, there is an isolation area. It's where the climbers are kept before they climb, before the observation period, so they can't see the route. But if you don't turn up before isolation closes, that's the end of your round. Unfortunately, Sean Bailey didn't make it.
But actually now the observation is still continuing, because when all the climbers get in isolation, they usually keep talking about the route for maybe 10 minutes. Some climbers who have really like the time before warming up even talk about it for an hour sometimes. And while other climbers have to climb maybe in first position and they have to get ready, so they have like less time to read the routes and to talk about it. But it's really interesting to be talking about the route with other climbers.
So we are about ready for the start of the men's competition. Fantastic qualifiers here today. It's a long qualifying round, went on all day, and a lot of climbers getting high on the routes. Just to let you know, we did have 5 women that topped both of the qualifying routes. Janja Garmbret, who I have to say looked in complete control throughout. Jane Kim, Mina Markovic, Akia Noguchi and Anna Verhoeven were the 5 that topped both women's qualifying routes. And over in the men's competition, no less than 7, and they will be very familiar names: Stefano Gisolfi, Sean McCall, Taito Nagagami, Urban Primozic. In his last ever competition, Fedor Samoilov of Ukraine and Jakub Schubert and Domen Skofic were the 7 who topped both the men's qualifiers. So 26 women and 26 men about to go into battle for the last World Cup of the year. In terms of the overall standings, the dust has settled, the maths has been done, and Janja Garmbret has claimed the overall title for 2016. Not a bad year. World Championship, overall World Cup win, Youth World Champion. Adidas Rockstars Bouldering.
But I think it's not enough for her. She wants to win this weekend too, I think.
If there's any World Cup she wants to win, it's her home one.
Especially, yeah. Home crowd, with the family, friends.
Don't forget, you can contact us on Twitter. We are live. It feels like a long time after 2 trips to China since I could say we're live. You can interact, but you can. We're on Twitter, hashtag IFSC WC as ever. If you've got any questions for Loic, any observations about the routes or the climbers, get in touch on Twitter, hashtag IFSC WC. Great to be live again. So first climber is out, onto the wall, Milan Preska of Slovenia. You can see there in the grey hair, the official t-shirt, that's Christian Bindhammer. He's our lead route setter. If he needs to figure the route out, then we are in trouble. But yeah, there's an interesting start on this men's route, because just above these starting holes, above this big blue volume you're about to see in your shot now, there are 4 big round volumes. There's 2 of them. There's the orange and the blue. There's also a white and a red one. And there was a bit of a disagreement. I think we're going to see some falls on the volumes.
Yeah, you were expecting it to be hard. I was expecting it to be not so hard, but just powerful. But let's see how it's going.
I said I think we're going to see some falls on these rounded volumes, but you said
I really don't. No, I don't want to see a climber falling on the third quick draw.
No,
so.
I don't. But there's no feet whatsoever, and they're quite committing moves if you don't get them 100%. But you were very confident the climbers would figure them out.
Yeah.
One thing's for sure, you certainly understand better than me exactly how hard these guys can climb. But I think we might see some falls here. It's not a super easy section. Certainly an awkward clip. It'd be interesting. I wonder if people could find a more efficient way of doing that. Looked a physical way to do it, but there are no feet here whatsoever.
That's nice. That's a cool start for a route.
Yeah, it's difficult psychologically, isn't it? Because you've got to come out and do quite committing moves, no feet.
Yeah.
Not 100% security.
No, but at least it can get you into the route, and so you get really like on hard moves, and if there are hard moves later, then you are ready for it. If you have an easy start, then you can maybe sleep and get into a sleeping mode, and then you have to wake up later. So now you are awake from the first start. That's good.
Milan Hayes.
We've been competing together in the youth competitions, and yeah, it was cool to compete against him. It's nice to see him in the semi-finals here. Especially for him, it's like in front of his home crowd.
4 Slovenian men in today's semi-final. As I mentioned earlier, 7 women. What a semi-final! Slovenia has got in store. Big cheer from the crowd there. Milan, as you'd expect, got the support of the local supporters.
Yeah, you can hear the home crowds supporting really hard. So this is kind of a roof section which is pretty physical, and he's getting to some pinches here. Oh, and he's battling there.
Now this third one here has a small bolt on. That's a good view of it. That's exactly where it is, and as Jan Zabraniak pointed out, just makes it that bit more doable. You can see how Milan didn't quite relax, but he could just set himself a bit more than on the previous two pinches. Goes to the cross through. I wonder if it's possible to match on that small hold. We see that the cross through looked very physical, but
I think it was planned to cross there to have some physical move there, but yeah, matching would be a mistake, I think.
So Milan's down from the pinch section.
That was a good try.
Yeah, he was fairly accurate. It looked like he got the best part of the hold. So out next, Kaya Otaka of Japan.
He's pretty young.
He is pretty young, yeah, 1998.
Yeah.
Oh, it's enough to make you cry, anyway. Team Japan had the most unbelievable 2016. More in bouldering than lead. We don't have some of the familiar faces from the bouldering here today. Kokoro Fuji is not here. We've seen him in some league competitions this year.
They still have 7 climbers in the semifinals here today, so they did a great job in the qualifications. It's harder for them often to get in the finals, but they have a really, really strong team. They are all strong. It's really impressive to see them climbing in qualifications.
Well, I'm sorry to see Kaya go, but those moves on the volumes, they don't look like the most certain moves.
Yeah, he was quite fast on there, and yeah,
he just couldn't quite figure out the best way to do it. That's a shame for Kaya. Second semi-final this year, also made it in Briançon. 227th as well, which is the most horrible place to finish because he just missed the semi-final. But yeah, second final for him. Given that we had Tomoe Narasaki not really setting the world alight early on in the bouldering this year, Kaya could certainly come back strong in the future. He wouldn't be the first Japanese climber to suddenly climb up the rankings very quickly. So Hannes Puman, he'll be out next for Sweden. Remember, the climbers are in reverse order. So if you qualify first, qualify top of the rankings, you come out last in the semi-final. So Hannes qualified 24th. Sweden also represented in the female semi-final. There's Rosen. Hannes just having a final look through. I was going to ask you actually, keep our eye on Hannes because we've just seen Kaya Otaka fall from quite low down, but I may interrupt you. But I was going to ask, we've seen the climbers do their observation and then go back into isolation. Do you often change your beta and you use that last minute observation that we've just seen Hannes go through to kind of check if you were right or the guy you were chatting to was right?
Yeah, sometimes I check this, or I check also the chalk on the holes, so I can see where climbers were going on the holes, and maybe I can look to the thumbs and watch how people would take the holes. But it's really last minute checking, and often it's just to feel the route again and prepare yourself. But it's not really to read the whole route again or find some new betas. It's really just to focus. And I mean, all the climbers have different approaches to just before the routes. Some just go directly in the routes. Hannes is managing the balls here.
Yeah, again, he's not got the best bit of that blue hold, but he's
you find a heel hook there. It's quite cool.
Figured it out now. Hannah's looking like this section's taking a bit out of him. He's going to have to rock over and get hold of that pocket. You can see the chalk smears. When we were chatting to Jan earlier, he said on the top of this volume he'd actually polished it. It's kind of like he described it as a homemade dual texture.
Yeah,
so
homemade.
just behind that blue tape, he's taken a lot of the friction off the volume. It seems like you can still hold it. From how he described it, it sounded as if
he said
it
would
useless.
be slippery, maybe.
Yeah, it's maybe not as good as it was. I think he went to it with a file or some industrial equipment. It still seems usable from his. It sounded from when he told us that it was completely useless, but you obviously get something out of it. You need to really, because it's a long way up to that black pinch. See how hard.
For the moment, I feel like I'm looking like at a bouldering World Cup actually. When I see all the balls there, when I see Hannes having a hard time on these balls, and he's like in a really awkward position. I mean, for a lead route, it's not quite often you see this, so quite interesting.
Be interested to see who this suits actually. I got a sneaky feeling Sean McCall could get on quite well with this route. Not for Hannes. That didn't look like the way to do it, hey. It was just too low for that move up left.
Yeah, he couldn't hold the right hand quite right either, I think.
That's a tiny hold he had with the left hand, but I mean it's a foothold really. So we're getting through the climbers quite quickly already. Milan Preska, the only climber so far to make it onto the upper half of the route. Hannah's just taking a final pensive look at the top section. Remember, get in touch on Twitter, #IFSCWC. Great to be live again and hopefully have some Twitter questions fired our way. Loic Timmermans, Team Belgium, is alongside me. If you've got any questions for Loic, make sure you fire them in. We've got a question on Twitter from Touche. He would like us to make podium predictions.
Already? Okay.
Already, we're only at the semi-finals. Oh well, why
Podium
not?
predictions, why not, yeah. Well, from the qualifications, it's hard to say, but I think Domen looked pretty strong, Jakob looked pretty strong. Actually, the usual climbers, Stefano looks pretty strong too. And surprisingly, Fedir Samolov from Ukraine, that both routes, he looks pretty strong too. And Basti Halenke is coming back also from training, so I think he's a good chance too. And in the girls, it's pretty, I would say not risky to say it would be Anak, Yanya, and then maybe Mina or Yan Kim. But I don't take any risks saying that, so.
You can see bottom right of your screen there, the female competition is underway, so it's Italy and Italy right now. Francesco Vetterata's out on the men's route, just made slightly like a work of the ball section, but it still looked like it took quite a lot of energy. He's onto the pinch now. Andrea Ebner is out on the women's route. Just to give you some idea of what it's like here live in Kranj. The men are on the right hand side of the wall and the women are on the left, but the women's route comes over, makes its way rightwards. They actually finish quite close together. At some stage we'll see a shot of the whole wall and you'll understand what I mean. That's a much better way of doing it from Francesco.
You can see how flat these pinches are here.
It's a super pumpy route, this.
And yeah, but the start makes it really physical. And the really pumpy and endurance only starts right now while you are already exhausted from all the bouldery moves that you just did, so quite interesting.
Now the route setters think that on this section here, the stronger climbers might get something of a rest. Francesco, it looks like, is able to chalk up. They're quite small holds, but if you're strong, you've got the prerequisite crimp strength, you can hang on and get a bit of a rest there before you launch into the pinches. Andrea Ebner as well on the women's route, up to one of the more interesting sections of this women's route. We haven't mentioned the women's route much, but we will shortly. It's just off that section through the first roof Pretty tricky. Come down with a massive smile on her face, so she's having fun. Francesco.
He's taking the lead here.
Yeah, a very early lead, but it's the lead nonetheless. Just to give you some idea, he's probably about 5 meters from the top of the wall. This is a short wall here in Kranj. The route setters will be watching this quite nervously. If the fourth climber out.
I think we might see a lot of climbers going on the top of the wall. Once they pass the bouldery section, it looks like they can really go pretty high. So we might see a nice endurance battle up there.
Yeah, he's climbed quite quickly, Francesco. He seems like he's still got some energy left. He's rested at the right times, but not for too long.
Yeah, he's quite efficient. Not forgetting the quick throws there.
That was a really good effort from Francesco Vetterato. It's always hard at the start of a semi-final to tell how good a performance is until you've seen 10 or so, well, at least half a dozen.
You never know.
A dozen climbers, but it certainly looked like a really good effort from Francesco. Climbed it nicely.
And another Italian here.
Yeah, believe me, there are other nationalities climbing here in Kranj. If you're just tuning in, we do have quite a spread, but not right now. Jenny Lavada, born in 1984. So Francesco Vetterato, we wait for his score. He will be first. Yeah, Jenny Lavada, born in 1984. All the best people were. Second Slovenian out in the men's route, Yuri. It's the ball section. And just going back to the podium predictions, I'll make a prediction. I've made loads this year, none have been true, so might as well just carry on. I think Yanya in the women's will win with Anak and Akia Noguchi in second and third, and I think in the men's, Sean McCall will win.
Okay.
And Domen will be second, and I've lost my chain of thought. Who will be next? Roman de Grange, for no reason.
For no reason. Okay.
I was just looking at the start list and his name jumped out, so I thought, hey, Roman. So there you go, there's my prediction. I wouldn't advise you to put your life savings on it. So we finally get a good look at this women's route. Just tuning in, they did start behind the men about 20 minutes later, just because the women's qualifiers overran. It meant that they could get their required rest period before the final, so they had a bit longer in isolation than the men. But we've already had Andrea Ibner out, and now we've got Jenny Lavada. And this women's route, relatively easy to read, we think, but physical. It's quite an old school route, really.
Yeah, quite old school start, and when they get to the roof, then it starts to be more physical, and then you really have to have enough power to do some kind of moves. And so yeah, it's old school, but the route setters still put some powerful moves to challenge the girls. I like to see the girls on powerful moves.
Yeah, it's good to have a look at this women's route. So so you can begin to get your bearings. Jenny's about half through up the wall now, but nearing the steepest part. Keep an eye, bottom right of your screen. If you hear any big cheers, that's why. We have a Slovenian climber on the wall, and it's going pretty well so far. Yeah, so Jenny just nearing the very steepest bit of the wall. And she's about to enter a section of green volumes. There's 8 green volumes altogether. But she only climbs the bottom 6. 2 have been left on the wall that don't form part of the route. So there's only 6 that the climbers climb on, but if the camera pans out, you will see 8. Just ignore the top 2. The women's route goes up and then drifts back right towards our camera there. We do have a cameraman up in the rafters here in Kranj. Need a head for heights.
Come on, Jenny. This is a powerful move in the girls' route. To the big one there. Oh.
And that move out to that big yellow sloper, I think we will see a lot of falls there. It's a tough move, and if you don't get it perfect, don't really have any chance with it.
Yeah, the visitor was expecting a couple of falls there.
Let's have another look. So it looks like she had the body position right and got the best bit of the hold. Interesting to see if that was the right piece. It didn't look like she did anything wrong there. It's just
no, she needs maybe some more core in the whole body. Her feet went a bit after and she couldn't hold it.
So we see Francesco Vetterata, 38 plus. We're just waiting for Yuri's score to come through. He'll be in second. So, we do have another nationality, Michelle Hulliger.
Switzerland.
Yes, 17 years old. Meanwhile, Tomoki Musha, Japan. The DJ getting cracking here in Kranj. You might be able to hear him. The soundtrack's been a lot better than, I have to say, some of the soundtracks to the World Cups in China.
Kranj, they always have like the latest hits out there, and it's always nice to climb here. Always, I think it's a good motivation because I'm listening to that kind of songs when I'm warming up or getting motivated. And yeah, well, when you are preparing for the route and you have some good songs out, then yeah, it gets you really psyched to climb actually. Because in China, the songs are cool, but they're maybe from 15 years ago, and it's always the same song all the time. They have like one playlist, and
you do find yourself thinking, oh, it's Billie Jean next. I know what's coming.
Yeah.
So Tomoki, bottom right. Not too many troubles so far with the ball section. Michelle, when we go. I think beginning to realise just how physical this route's going to be.
I think she's part of the new generation in Switzerland. They have some really young climbers getting really strong in Switzerland since a few years now. And it's good to see that they are really getting strong as a team. They don't have like individuals getting out, but they have really a strong team, and I think they have maybe starting building a structure, and you can really see that they are getting strong as a team, and yeah, it's really inspiring to see them.
They've got a really good coaching setup. Pyramin Schäuber is one of their coaches. He was commentating with me in Guangzhou in the youth, and that level of technical knowledge and understanding of physiology and training,
yes.
It was incredible, the level of knowledge. I'm sure all coaches are the same, but it's the first one I've managed to talk into commentating.
The other one,
well, the other coaches don't seem that keen.
It's shy. But they also have quite cool gyms in Switzerland. I've been doing a Swiss tour during July after the World Cup in Villach, and yeah, I was quite surprised how good the gyms were.
Now that was a different method from Michelle. I was about to say we'll be interesting to see how she tries to do this move, and before we knew it, she'd lunged for the hold. So she went from low down. Again, that didn't quite look like the best method. We shall see. The route setters were expecting a few falls there, and we've already had a couple. Tomoki, no problem with the cross through.
Yeah, in the meantime, he's just campusing through the roof, and he's efficient too. Actually, he's quite fast, and
you talk about teams who've got strong. Japan. Whoa.
Yeah, talking about a Swiss team, I mean, the Japanese team are the same. They also have like a big team, and when you see them evolving in the trainings, they always train together and they get strong together actually.
Looks, the elbows just coming out here from Tomoki, the fatigue just kicking in, yep.
That was a sign.
So he'll be followed by another Japanese climber, Kachiro Korinaga. Familiar face in the League Cup Roman. Hometown of Briançon, we've had a World Cup there. And actually we've got a question from Jeremy Lint on Twitter. He wants to know, how do they decide where to host the World Cups? I live in San Diego, missed the bouldering in Vail. Is there anywhere else near me? Well, Jeremy, we're coming back to Vail next year, but I believe that's the only one. I believe that cities can bid to host a World Cup, and then they have to fulfil the criteria. But I have to say, I'm not involved in the organisation of World Cups. I just go where I'm told. More than happy to go to Vail, and to be honest, I wouldn't have any problem going to San Diego either. If San Diego would like to bid for a World Cup, you'll hear no complaints from me if I have to have a week in California.
I mean, I'd love to have some more lead World Cups in the USA again, because the last time I went to America was in Atlanta, and it was great. I mean, the climbing gym was super cool. It was really different from the European bouldering lead World Cups, and it's cool to see some other gyms and other style of routes. So I'm waiting for it.
Yeah, so there you go, Jeremy. As far as I know, it's just Vail next year in the USA, but as I say, don't think anyone will be too upset about a week in California, so if San Diego wants to bid, feel free. You get a vote from me.
Me too. Allez, Salome.
Salome, it's a really physical route, this Salome short climber.
I hope she can reach the big hole there, because she's one of the smaller competitors. And
well, this will be interesting because she certainly won't be able to jump. We saw Jennifer earlier on, Michelle. It was Michelle, wasn't it? Not Jenny Lovato, it was Michelle went from very low down. Salome certainly won't be able to try that beater.
But Salome is really powerful because she has always have to, because she's so small, she has to be powerful. And
there we go. There's the move, and you could almost pass without notice because she made it look very easy. Meanwhile, Kachero Koranaga didn't get on at all with the lower section of the men's route. Salome, the first to nail that move to the volume. Let's have a look. That's strange. Doesn't look like it. So no joy for Kachero. I would just remind our viewers that Loic Timmermans next to me said we wouldn't see any falls there, and the real climbing expert here.
Thank you for reminding me.
just ask me if you need any advice. Just come ask me. Any beta, whatever, training tips.
So Dimitri is early out right now because he didn't climb so well in qualifications, I think.
He's been climbing well recently. But
because in China he won the World University Championships, and then he made a podium at both master events in Wujiang, and made a podium in Xiamen, the last World Cup. So he's really in shape for the moment. So I think we can maybe see someone going really high up here. But I don't think he's much of a boulderer, so let's see how he's going to manage the big balls on the start of the route.
So Matteo Becerra is out for France, second French climber on the women's route in a row. Totally different side Roman, but will she use the same beater? We shall see. Another question on Twitter, Jackson Honeycutt. That's a great name. How much climb time do the climbers get after they come out until they have to start climbing?
40 seconds.
And the reason I let you answer that is that set 40 seconds? I mean, do you try and sneak in as much time as you can, or are you someone that you just want a quick look and then climb?
Well, it's really depending on the climbers. Some climbers really want to have as much time as possible to be able to read the route from the bottom to the top. Some just want to, just hang out a bit, I would say, just before to climb, just to chill out and before starting to climb. But if you are taking too much time, they will maybe tell you, okay, now you have to go. And if you really are going too slowly, then they will maybe give you a yellow card, but it's 40 seconds, that's the rule.
You don't almost never see climbers sort of getting pushed onto the route, do you? Most people seem to come out and get on with it a lot quicker than 40 seconds. No. Dimitri just needs to get the rope out from behind his leg, which might be easier said than done. Oh no, it's okay now. Now he used that tiny foothold for the left hand. I guess anything to handhold if you're strong enough. Mathilde, meanwhile, is bottom right, heading up towards the roof, getting pretty close to what's proved to be the crux so far. Dimitri, as you say, not a huge boulderer, but didn't seem to have any trouble.
No, it looks fine. So I think now he's gonna like it much more.
Yeah, he's certainly a bit lower down than you might expect to see him in the rankings. So it wouldn't be a huge surprise at all if he was to make the final hit. And Mathilde is through that move.
A powerful move there.
I was watching Dimitri. I didn't see how she did it. Hopefully we'll see a replay, but she's through it and looking in pretty good shape. Doesn't look too tired. Taking something of a rest here. Keep an eye on her.
I think the girls' route from here on to the top is really hard. Maybe the start is a bit easier, and from there on it's really only hard moves and until the very last one.
Mathilde, though, she'll certainly be in first with this. She's the first climber that's well clear of the roof.
And now she has to cross to a big yellow. She should go again there. In shoulder. Yeah, that's the right speed. And now she has to cross. But she doesn't like it, I think. And Dimitri is managing the powerful moves there quite easily, I think.
Both climbers on the wall here looking really strong. Mathilde, one move too far on the women's route, but that's enough for a healthy lead at this stage. Always interesting in a lead, particularly in a semi where a move can look impossible and then climbers just suddenly begin to cruise through it as we get further down the order.
Yeah.
So Dimitri just checks the time.
8 minutes in semi-finals. But normally 8 minutes is enough in Kranj. I've never seen a timeout in Kranj, I think.
No, it is a short wall.
I mean, it can happen, but
yeah, you'd need to be going quite slowly to get timed out here. There is actually a bit been added, so we actually climb into the rafters here. It's a couple of meters higher than it usually is, but still quite a short wall. So Dimitri,
I like his rest position there.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It's like I call this in French the frog position. You know, he's like sitting there on with his both feet like compressing on the hole. It's quite cool.
Yeah, those holds are not very good. It just gives you an idea how strong Dimitri is. I mean, looked like he was on holiday.
Yeah, and Dimitri has an incredible finger strength. When I see him on some trainings, he can really hold some super small holes. I know he's training on the some fingerboards, and he can hold like really tiny holes and hang on there with one arm and do some crazy lockoffs.
Yeah,
I don't know how are the training facilities in Russia, but I think he has some big trainings on fingerboards, and that's where all his strengths come from, I think.
That is the last quick draw before the top that Dimitri's got clipped now, and
he looks good.
He looks really good. Almost no sign of fatigue. You can see he's just beginning to fight now,
and he's still resting.
He's resting.
You don't see him here, but he's resting.
He's resting, kind of locked off. Oh no, okay, now his arm's straight. He was locked off on his right arm with it 90 degrees. I mean, there we see it. I mean, that's not... certainly doesn't meet my definition of a rest, but...
This should be like the hardest section of the route, and he's just cruising.
Well, either the route setters have really underestimated the men here, or Dimitri is in really good shape. I think it's the latter.
I think he's, really strong.
I think we're about to see a top here from Dimitri. Something just fell out of his pocket. Doesn't seem to have been anything
No, I think
made.
it was his bib number. Yeah.
Oh, it's his bib number. Okay, great. Yeah, you're right. He's lost
And
his
that's
bib number.
no problem. You just have to start with the bib number, but if it's fall off, yeah, nice. Good.
So, top from Dimitri. We said he was a bit lower down the order than we might have expected.
And that's the
And you
first stop.
I think. Great to see him climbing well. As I say, didn't get on with the qualifiers as well as he might have done, but all you need to do is get there. So, Katja Kadic.
So the route setters were expecting 3 tops, but I think we might see a bit more.
Yeah, he's out. Already done, and the top from Dimitri. It was his bib number. Lost about 50 grams of weight just for that top section. Maybe it made all the difference. Maybe not. Katja, that move. So she goes the long version. Did it from low down. There's Mathilde, we see. Keep an eye top left of your screen for the women's results as they come up. Mathilde leading the way ahead of Salome. It's France 1 and 2 right now in the women's competition. Katja Kadic lives just down the road in Ljubljana.
Nice.
Mathilde, 3 or 4 moves further on, but
She has a
Katja-
crowd with her, so I think she's really battling really hard.
well, that'll be enough for second for Katja. The familiar figure of Gautier Supper out in the men's. Another climb you might have expected to see a bit higher up. There he is.
And after Gautier, we will see Thomas Joannes, who is his training friend, also from France. So 2 French in a row.
Yeah, Gautier is a pretty relaxed character, isn't he?
He's climbing
Always
the best,
chilled
I
out.
think, when he's really relaxed.
Yeah, he was on the table next to us at lunch actually, not a care in the world, just chilling out. Couldn't believe he had the last World Cup semi-final of the year coming up that afternoon.
I think he also knows it's the end of the season and he's much more relaxed. I mean, he made a podium in Paris, which was his main goal this year, and the rest of the season was more, for the fun, I think. And I think he really wants to enjoy the World Cups and have the most fun possible.
So we've got the men's results coming up. There they are, top of your screen. So, tree top early on. Big statement. Gautier out now. As you say, Thomas out next. Meanwhile, on the women's route, first of a strong team, Austria. No Magda Rock for this competition, unfortunately. We do have Katharina Posch. Also got Hannah Schubert. Jessie Pilz is here. Austria well represented as ever. Christine Strands as well. France and Austria on the wall now. 2 powerhouses of European and world climbing. Gautier looking a bit like he did at lunch, not a care in the world, just cruising through. He's found the bolt on hold on that 3rd pinch. No problem with the cross through. Katharina Posch, you can see there bottom right, just taking a bit longer to figure out these moves on the women's route. It's quite a committing move, that to the black bolt on.
Yeah, in a few moves she will have to commit again to the big sloper.
Now she's quite a tall climber, Katharina, sorry.
Christine will be out later.
Yes, sorry, I'm getting my my strong Austrians mixed up. Yeah, Katarina will.
Oh, and
Gauthier.
I didn't quite see, but I think he was getting a bit pumped, but maybe he missed the hole a bit there.
Yeah, we'll have another look. I was just watching Katarina, not
will
Christine.
see the replay there.
And Katarina, yeah, she's figured out that move to the big hold. She's got a bit of an awkward one there. Quick draw, just caught across the shoulder. Comes from Imst, already been there this year. Back in August. What will she make of this upper section? As I mentioned, Magda Rock, who won in Imst, her compatriot, she won't be here in Slovenia. That is another potential final place up for grabs, you would imagine. Kat's really having to battle here.
She still have to do some more moves there.
Just see here.
Yeah, you can see his right hand on the volume was it was slipping. Actually, it was a bit slippery there. Didn't get it super on the period. Like in the start of the year, we usually train much more than during the season, because during the season we have to be fresh for the competition. But for example, this August, while preparing for the end of the season, I was hours in a row if I would like. It wouldn't be so efficient. So this year I've been doing much more quality trainings. That means maybe smaller trainings from 1 hour and a half up to 2 hours, but much more on the week. So maybe one in the morning, one in the afternoon, sometimes one more in the evening. And I think it's important to have always quality-based trainings, because other. So yeah, tips. But I mean, of course, not everyone has time to do this. But back to the climbers here.
I have a follow-up question, but we'll wait, because I was about to say, getting into the business end on the women's route. But Mia Krampel, I mentioned earlier with when Katarina was there that move up to the black bolt on the arete, it's no given. Unfortunately, Mia Krampel just proved it. It's not an easy move. Only 16, Mia Krampel, of course. She'll be back. Second place in the lead in Guangzhou in the World Youth Championships in November. If you haven't watched the replays from Guangzhou, go back and watch them. We had an amazing week there.
And Thomas Joannes, he made his first podium this year in Villars. I hope he can make finals here too. Come on, come on. Some more moves here.
Ali Thomas.
Ali Titom. Ali. Nice. He's really batting there. Nice. Oh.
If you're cheering on the French team, I dread to think what it'd be like when Anak is climbing later.
Then I'll be cheering in Dutch, actually.
It's okay. You can take the headset off. We'll let you go and shout down the front. So Vita Lucan also out. She had a pretty successful time. Pretty successful time in Guangzhou as well.
And talking again about strong teams, I mean, Slovenian also they have national team trainings maybe every week, I think. And I think that's a really important factor for motivation. I mean, Slovenia is not a big country. They have not so millions of people, and maybe that's a cool thing for them, because so they don't have to travel too much to go to a gym, and they always train together, so that's motivating. I mean, if you live in the US, I don't know how many hours you have to, or you even have to take a plane in if you want to do a team training, so that's a bit harder if you want to do a national team training.
Yeah, being a small country does have its advantages.
Yeah, because people are often surprised that Slovenia is so strong, because they are only maybe 3 million of people, I think, inhabitants. But I think they have a good structure and good trainers.
Yeah, it is a small country.
Good spirits.
Kranj is the 4th biggest town in Slovenia, and there's 37,000 people here. It's
Yeah.
you know, it's a small country, but they just churn out top climbers in pretty much every discipline, including Vita Lucan. 3rd in the female youth A lead in Guangzhou. That was when we had an all Slovenia podium with someone called Janja Gambra on the top. You may know her. She was top with Mia and Vita making up the rest of the podium. Vita in 3rd, and she nails that move, and she did it the more dynamic way, the longer way.
That was cool.
And not for the first time we see a climber with that quick draw getting stuck over their left shoulder, but she sorted it out.
And
She
now
hasn't
she's battling.
Yeah, she hasn't clipped it yet. So Vita, fresh off a bronze medal in the World Youth Championship, only 16 years old, and performing pretty well in her home World Cup. Naoki Shimatani's out. Team Japan taking a slightly more cautious approach to these volumes, just
Yeah, he's
figuring
taking
it
his
out.
time, and I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, we have seen a couple of falls where people haven't quite figured out how to get stood on top of that red volume. Much better to take your time and get it right.
And now he has to commit to the next move and get really started. That's always hard to have a tricky start of a route, because you want to get it really focused and not go too fast, but once your tricky section is done, you have to be able to start climbing efficiently again.
So Aya Ono, also of Japan. 2 Japanese
remember,
runs in a row.
Aya Onoe from Japan, and when we went to Tokyo maybe 2 years ago, we had the lead World Cup there, and Aya was our guide there, and we had a visit in Tokyo, and she was really keen because she bring us to the best places in Tokyo. She was our guide, so that was pretty nice from her.
Yeah, we'll be back in Tokyo in May next year. Another World Cup. Remember, the Olympics will be there in, hard to believe, in 4 years' time. I can't quite decide if I'm excited or nervous. And I don't even have to climb there. It's just so amazing, but also hard to imagine that climbing's actually in the Olympics. But yeah, super exciting. But it's almost overwhelming, the thought. You can't help but be slightly nervous. Nervous excitement. Max Redigier, excuse me, of Austria. I actually sat with Max on the bus somewhere in China. I can't remember. We were going to an airport in China back in October, and he was doing some university work, and I literally couldn't understand one symbol, number, or letter of what he was doing. It was like massively complicated maths or physics. Or
it was math. Yeah.
Is it maths?
I don't know.
I asked him.
I was going to say maybe it was in German, and that's why you didn't understand. But if it's symbols and
it wasn't a language problem, I can assure you. It was definitely it was a brain problem.
I couldn't help you out, actually. Yeah, Max was also in the China tour. He started with the World University Championship in Shanghai. Then we had a lead master in Wujiang, and finally a World Cup in Xiamen. So that was 3 weeks ago. Since then, most of the climbers have been training. Some have been outside rock climbing, I've seen. Every climber has his own way of managing the end of the season. some are going to be more relaxed and some just keep training super hard.
So that move up to the volume now suddenly doesn't look quite as hard. We've had a few climbers in a row absolutely nail it.
I don't think she clipped yet. Yeah,
no,
she's
still not quite got it. So that quick draw is causing problems for just about everyone actually.
Yeah.
Got it sorted now.
Don't clip your harness there because it still could happen.
No, that wouldn't be great.
I've seen Gauthier clipping his harness 1 year. Don't do that.
It looked very promising up to there. She made her debut here in Kranj. Special place for her back in 2011, believe it or not. So
and Max is cruising up there actually.
Yeah, Dimitri, you see in the top of your screen, men's results coming through. Max
It doesn't
cruising
seem
at
to
this
have
stage.
too much problems. Yeah. Oh.
And that is a shame for Max because he climbed really well in the qualifiers.
Yeah.
And that's certainly enough for a provisional place in the final. You fear it might not be enough eventually.
But there are still a lot of strong climbers to go. And
second Japanese climber in a row on the women's route, and Max knew before he'd actually gone that he was going to fall there. Rita Ota, number 33 on the women's route. On the men's, we've only got one more climber, Mario Lechner, also of Austria, before the cleaning period. After the 13th climber out of 26, so halfway through the semi-final in each gender, men's and women's, the routes get a clean, so the route setters go up with a brush, give all the holes a clean, get as much of the chalk and the sweat off the holes as they can. It should actually work quite well this time because the women started 20 minutes behind, so we shouldn't actually have a complete break. We should just be always have some action for you, which is always nice. Just having a look. Yeah, Rita's the 11th. Rita Ota, who's out now, she's the 11th climber. Yeah, it should work quite well. Mario Lechner, meanwhile, 13th climber in the men's competition. We're down to 25 if you are just tuning in the men's competition. Sean Bailey of the USA, he didn't make it in time for isolation. And if you haven't watched lead climbing before, and you're taking interest in climbing with the Olympics coming up, or just because it's great to watch, the name of the game is simply to get as high as you can on the route. All the holes are numbered, and your score is the number of the hole that you reached. The numbers aren't visible on the screen. The route setters have denoted them though. So yeah, it's just a case of getting as high as you can. And right now, Rita Ota's doing a pretty good job getting high on the women's route. We haven't seen anyone really struggle with the lower section of the women's route. It's this section where they start moving up the arête with the left hand where the problems have started.
yeah, the start is old school, but doesn't seem too tricky for the moment for any girl. It's actually from there on that it's really starting to be harder, and we've seen some girls having troubles on this move.
She has made finals before, Risa. She's not a regular finalist, but a 5th in Briançon last year, a standout result. So don't be too surprised if we see a good performance here.
And she's clipping before. That's interesting too.
Yeah, she obviously doesn't know that clips cause problems for the climbers, but figured it out for herself. Of course, the climbers are in isolation before they come out, so they can't watch the other competitors. They get the observation period at the start before any of them attempt the route, and then the 40 seconds that we were talking about earlier before they start climbing, 40 seconds individual observation. But she won't have seen anyone else being troubled by that clip. And again, that move up left causing problems. And Mario Lechner, you might have seen him bottom right of your screen. I saw him as he came swinging into view. Hopefully we'll see another look at where he fell. He was on the pinch section of that men's route, on the black pinches moving out right. So there's the men's results. Dimitri out on his own with the top. Toma and Francesco tied on 38 plus. We'll see the women's results too as well. Stay tuned. The men's route, of course, will get a clean now. And then we see Mathilde leading the way. Katarina Posch and Katja Kadic tied on 29 plus. Mia Krampel, after a successful Youth World Championship, she might have hoped to be slightly higher up the order, but no, she won't be making the final. 8:26 to progress to the final, of course. Final will be tomorrow evening here in Kranj. Just to let you know, the men's route is being cleaned. I can see Jan, one of our route setting team, drawn the short straw. And he's fighting his way up the route. There's no excuse me. There's no cherry pickers here. No machines to get the route setters up. It's all old school with scaffolding and ladders, or in the case of Jan, just a combination of climbing the route and pulling on the quick draws.
Yeah, that's what I like about Kranj as well. It's a bit back to the old school way of competitions. The wall is not so new. It's really different from the other World Cups. I mean, when you see the World Championship in Paris, the wall is totally different. But in the end, I think all the climbers like the routes here. They are really bumpy and physical. They're really like how they should be, and so old school is cool too, actually.
Yeah, it's been a really fun event here in Kranj. We are indoors, so weather not an issue, but it's just as well because the weather has been absolutely miserable. But the town is very welcoming, and yeah, really nice scenery around here.
Yeah, but it's warmer than other years. I've seen some years, always in November, of course, where there was snow, and this year it's maybe 10-15 degrees.
Yeah, it's been nice.
And it's been nice, yeah.
Went for a run in the local mountains this morning. Didn't see much of a view, I've got to say.
Yeah, it's a bit
heavy
cloudy.
mist.
Yeah,
But
heavy mist. Yeah.
I could imagine the view was lovely. So Rebecca Kamin, one of 7 Slovenian women in today's semi-final. Got one more climber, Yuka Kobayashi, competing in her last ever World Cup. Will be out before the women's route gets a clean.
She's having a quite nice rest here. I think she might need this rest before starting the more tricky sections. But hopefully she's not resting too long, otherwise she will get a bit pumped.
Yeah, she's had a consistent season, Rebecca Carmin. 22nd, 17th, 24th, 16th, 23rd in World Cups, and then 21st in Paris. So always kind of bottom third to middle of the semi-finals. She'd be a very popular finalist if she were to make it. Looks as if she's fighting a bit on this route. Another quite relatively short climber, so I don't think we'll see her jumping for this hold. I thought she was about to prove me wrong there. It looked like she was lining it up. No.
I think she will put her feet pretty high.
And that is about that's as close as close-ups get. And again, clips early.
She's very focused though. She did it another way. She first went with her right foot first,
and that's a shame for Rebecca. The Beelers don't mess about here in Kranj. You're on the ground before you know it. She was about to wave to the crowd, and then she was down next to the judges.
Yeah, the players like to get you down pretty fast.
No one
they like
accused
to
them of wasting time.
Yeah. Next.
Yeah, if the semi-finals or the finals do overrun, we certainly can't blame the B-layers. So Yuka Kobayashi, this is her last World Cup.
Is it?
I believe so. We do hear that, though. You know, Mina Markovic was retiring and then suddenly realised that actually she loves competitions. She doesn't want to retire after all, but yeah, Yuka, apparently this is her last World Cup.
Okay. I know it's also Urban's last competition.
Yeah, Urban Primozic.
From Slovenia.
His last event from Kranj, yeah.
Yeah, he told me this in Paris. I was quite surprised, but I didn't know about Yuka.
Yeah, she's been, I think her first international competition, if my memory is right, I'll check it in a minute. I believe her first international competition was 2001.
Okay.
So she's been at it a while. I'm going to fact check that. I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah, I think she has quite a lot of experience then. And I don't think the start of this route will be any problem for her then.
Yeah, 2001.
So
pretty happy with that. Quite tragic that I knew that, but I'll still take it. Yeah, 2001 female youth B lead in Imst. Wow. First senior World Cup in 2003. So yeah, certainly put the hours in. You could
I think she knows something about World Cups.
It's not her first rodeo, that's for sure. Had a good year this year. 2 finals in Villars and Arco. Just missed out in Paris, 13th. Still top half in a World Championship final. The semi-final, excuse me. Not too shabby.
And the men's are starting again. The men's routes. It's all clean. It's all ready to have some new climbers trying it out. I think the balls might need some brushing. And Yuka is getting to the powerful section here.
Yeah, you can see.
She looks okay there right now.
You can see how much effort it requires.
I like how Japanese can really put their feet super high, and I mean she didn't took her feet off any time here. She did everything statically, and
it'd be interesting to chat to some of the Japanese coaches and climbers, because flexibility does seem to be a common feature among the Japanese climbers.
Yeah, especially when we warm up. You see all the European warming up, and they usually maybe do some elastic warming up, and then they basically start warming up on the wall. While the Japanese usually start with half an hour of stretching and doing flexibility, while no European would do this.
Yeah, it is something you see, and you do see, as you say, you do see that with the Japanese team in the warm-up areas. But I'm surprised that no one else has adopted that as a team.
Yeah,
you really see it pay dividends with the Japanese.
I know Sebastian Halenke is doing a lot of flexibility and yoga. I know that Sachiyama is doing yoga as well for the moment. He's not competing anymore, but
Yuka seemed to be climbing really well there.
I don't know if she knew what to do there. She seems to be a bit lost, and I don't know.
It was a bit of a strange fall actually from Yuka. We shall see where that puts her in terms of score. Masahiro Higuchi, meanwhile, is out on the men's route. Keep an eye top left of your screen for the women's result. I don't think we've got Yuki Kobayashi's score just yet. We'll get that in the second. And after this, we'll have the men's results.
You have some final words for your friends or maybe for the team manager or something like that.
Masahiro heading towards the pinches. You see there top left, Dimitri out on his own. Atop. Early on in this semi-final, the route setters might have been slightly nervous if it was anyone else apart from Dimitri, but I thought that his qualifying result wasn't really representative. I thought he was certainly someone you'd expect to see in the finals, and he's done all he can do.
That's why I like semi-finals, because you can really mess up in qualifications, but that doesn't mean anything, and you really have to stay confident. And semi-finals are always a bit different from qualifications. They are often a bit longer because there are only 2 routes on the wall, which means route setters can set up maybe some longer routes, and that can fit some climbers. Maybe some climbers prefer some shorter routes, some prefer longer. So sometimes you can see different results because the routes are just different. And I mean, it can happen to mess up in qualifications, and that's why you always have to be confident about your feelings, about your climbing, and not about the provisional results.
Just keep an eye on Masahiro.
Squeezing really
that
high.
move looked at the limit, and staying there looks like he's on the limit, and he can't stay there. Unfortunately, good battle for Masahiro Higuchi. Meanwhile, the women's route's being cleaned. If it looks like the B layer on the left is giving a lot of assistance to a female climber, it's actually Christian Bindhammer, our chief route setter here. I've had an extremely successful competition climbing career. Still climbing at an extremely high level. He's just busy climbing the routes. So we've got the women's results. We see there Matilda Becerra holding on to that lead halfway through this women's semi-final now. Yuka Kobayashi, yes, second place. We didn't see her fall again, but second place. It would be great to see her in a final for her. And we got the men's results as well. Here they are, Dimitri. Nobody else topped the route just yet. When Francesco Vetterata came out, that looked like a really strong performance. But then Dimitri, when he topped, he didn't really look as if he was.
It was not enough for him.
Taxed. No, I mean, it didn't look as if. I don't want to say, looked easy, but it looked easy.
Actually, yeah. Now we have Sascha Lehmann from Switzerland, and he's another young star of Switzerland. He's been really impressive this year. Since the start of the season, you could really see he was in great shape. He made his first finals in Briançon, I think. And since his first final, he's been strong the whole season. He made semi-finals in almost every competition, I think.
Yeah, but he had a bit of a disappointing Youth World Championships in Guangzhou.
I saw this.
I was quite surprised, actually. I thought he was. I mean, he more than holds his own in senior level, but he just, for whatever reason, didn't quite click for him in Guangzhou. No final.
I've seen he was leading the qualifications. He topped both routes, and then something happened in the semi-finals.
Yeah, he seemed pretty disappointed when I chatted to him in Guangzou, but he was okay.
I think he had a good consolation, how do you say, because he won the combined results.
Yeah.
So actually, he's still world champion. So
yeah, you take that.
I mean, if you're disappointed and then you've been told you're world champion.
You were saying something very interesting earlier when we were watching our previous. You can just slip I think it was. No, just mid.
Yeah,
He
I think
went from far too low down. It looked like you need to have
Yeah.
your feet on top of that red
he
hold.
was pretty low, and then when he arrived on the hole, he was maybe too low as well. And
You don't need to do that move dynamically. There's a way. Anyway, poor old Sasha. That was not the way to do that move. He'd be disappointed, but
it's still a good year for him.
yeah, it's still a
happy
very good year. A bit of a
he had a good
breakthrough
year,
year. But I was talking about mentality and things.
Talking about mentality, I like to see
Yeah,
Basti reading his route.
Every time we see this, I really
Yeah.
enjoy it. It's good to have him back. We didn't have him in China.
And it's really cool to see Basti because when people see him, they only see him when he's reading the route and climbing, and you might think, okay, this guy is like super, how would you say, like he has like tons of energy. But when you really get to know him, he's really calm actually, and he's really a calm person, very, very kind. And yeah, I've been training a bit with him this year. We've been to Innsbruck for some trainings together, and yeah, he's extremely focused on climbing.
Yeah, he's quite a cool combination of things, isn't he? Because he's kind of a punk. When you see him outside climbing, he's got this
Yeah.
kind of punk dress style, but at the same time, he's a super athlete, and he's got the mohawk. But at the same time, he's like a really friendly, approachable guy.
He's super friendly. Yeah.
He's a lot of contradictions. Basti, I really like him. He's a really fun guy and
Yeah.
fun to watch. But I will get to this question about mentality. I'm sorry. In the qualifiers today, can you pinpoint what happened to you today? I know you weren't happy with how your qualifiers went. Can you pinpoint a reason? And after each competition, how do you try and learn the lessons? Do you write about it? Do you make notes? What do you try and do to make sure you don't make the same mistake twice?
It's hard to talk about it like directly after the qualifications, because then you're just disappointed and you're thinking you are too weak, or you didn't train enough. And I often try to think about this maybe the day after, or to give some time for my mind to rest. And yeah, well, this is also the last competition of the season, so we usually sit down with my trainer and then we talk about the whole season, how it went, but also about the last competition. And then we try to figure out, was it because of the training, was it because of the route, of the mental, was it a mix of a couple of things. Like for me today, I felt pretty good during warm up and even during the climbing, and I feel I was maybe I didn't have the right fighting spirits. Like it was really early this morning, and I don't know, maybe I just wasn't in the right mindset. And also, I mean, climbing can be like tactical sometimes. You have to commit. Like some moves will give you much more points if you do them. And yeah, so if you climb fast and you have much more moves, then maybe if you rest and you fall too early. But yeah, I would say it's better to wait before making too fast conclusions. And Basti is looking pretty strong.
Basti is looking super strong. That move up left has stopped a few strong climbers, but he made it look very easy. And I have to say, looking fine form. He had a problem. He had a finger injury. He picked it up. I think it was Chamonix or Vili picked up a finger injury. And
It was a skin problem, yeah.
Yeah, but he seems to have. He tells me it's fine, and he is climbing superbly here. It looks like the tiredness just beginning to show, but he's looked superb up to here. This is more than enough for
topping out here.
This is more than enough for second place right now. Can he join Dimitri with a top?
Come on, Basti, come on.
And it would be enough to give him the lead.
Get you. Nice.
Now he's composed himself. Those moves he was just trying to match. Look difficult. It's not the easiest position to clip from actually when you're tired, but gets it done, and that's the top.
Good job. That was a strong performance.
That was a really strong performance. Meanwhile, Junior Shanodi, she's out as well. Let's have another look.
Nice.
2 tickets to the gun show there from from Basti. Really impressive performance. So Julia manages to hold on with the foot slip there.
No problem. Come on, Julia. I think we might see Julia going higher here. She's been really strong this year. She made it to the finals for a couple of World Cups. She had a great trip in China too.
Yeah, she's just that clip, which has caused a few problems, is also causing Julia a few issues, and she just looked as if she couldn't quite decide what to do with her hands. In the end, decides just to go big with the left hand, and it worked fine, but it's a long move.
She's looking for a foothold as well here.
She just needs to regather that composure. She looked good lower down. She just needs to...
She's crimping very hard too, and
I was about to say, just needs to take a couple of deep breaths and try and just slow down, because it looked like she suddenly in about 30 seconds just seemed to not quite panic, but lose her rhythm a bit. Here, Romain de Grange, World Cup winner already this year, won in Arco. One of those really nice moments in Arco, we were watching on our live stream, we were watching our TV, and we were watching a replay of his climb, and suddenly I felt a hand on my shoulder. It was Romain de Grange, and he wanted to watch as well. Unfortunately, I couldn't convince him to put the headset on and talk to us, but yeah, really nice. And he watched the replay of his climb. He was kind of oohing and ahhing along with us every time something happened. But yeah, World Cup winner this year. Had to wait, I think it was 12 years after his first World Cup for his first World Cup win.
Yeah, it was a long wait, but
like the buses, they come 2 at a time. One in 2015, one in 2016.
Yeah, if you want to have a good example of commitments and yeah, really, he's been focused on climbing for years, and it's really impressive. I think how he's training and how he's approaching climbing.
Yeah, never gave up. Just trained harder, came back better, and 12 years after the start of his career, he gets his reward, a gold medal in a World Cup. Now he's got 2. So Kaiser's out on women's route. Deep into the second half of this semi-final in the men's and women's competitions. Loic Timmermans is alongside me, Team Belgium. You got any questions for him or any observations? Don't forget Twitter, #IFSCWC. Great to be back on the live again. Nice to get some sun, work on the tan a bit in China, but it is nice to be live again. I have to say in Guangzhou actually, no sign of working on the tan, it was freezing.
Was it?
It was, yeah. Some idiots only packed 1 pair of trousers and spent most of the week shivering, but that was my own fault. Romain focused as ever, and no trouble at this stage. This top section should suit him quite well, lots of crimps.
Yeah, I think he will like the top section, and we might see another top, but he's not there yet, and there are still some clips to go. 3 more quick draws.
His fingers are like a vice, Romain de Grange. You don't think he'll... this roof section that's proved quite problematic, I think he should get on quite well with. Like this move here. Yeah, we've seen climbers really struggle with that move, and he cruised it. Just going to reset. I know he's going to clip before he goes.
He's even getting back here.
A lot of the clips here in Kranj quite close together. So we have seen climbers double up, clipping 2 at a time.
Yeah, and we have also seen climbers skipping some quick draws in order to win some movements. It's always a hard question. Will I clip and maybe fall, or will I skip the quick throw and win some moves?
Roman's really beginning to fight here.
Come on, come on.
Just needs to get his feet sorted.
He
You can
really
see how
wants to top it.
you can see how quickly he recovers once there's a good crimp. He was shouting, and then as soon as he got that right hand, and it's still a great hold. As soon as he had that, he was away. He's just setting himself. He's got plenty of time. We don't have a clock, but I can assure you he is not short of time, and he gets the job done. Third topper, it will be in a second.
Good job.
So Roman de Grange, top number 3, still doesn't crack a smile. Never really looks especially satisfied with his efforts,
I think
does he,
he
Roman?
will smile if he tops the final route,
So he's Kaiser.
and that's it. But yeah, that's the goal. I mean, he knows that topping the semi-final route is not enough.
That's a
And
shame for
Kaiser.
Kaiser. Yeah, that'll be enough to get into the top 8 at this stage, but the strong climb is still to come.
She had a good season too. I think she made finals. I've seen her in Uljana earlier this year during a road trip, and she was really impressive. She on-sided some AB pluses, some 8Cs. She was really, really strong, and she confirms her good shape during the World Cups. I think we might see her for the next couple of years.
Yes, won the European Youth Championship this year, Kaiser, and certainly had a really good 2016. So there we have it. We don't yet have her score. I think we'll see. Hopefully we'll go back to the first 10. We can see what her score was. I'm pretty sure she'll be hovering around 3rd or 4th if my notes that I've been trying to take as we go along have been right. Here we go again. 6th. Okay, I thought she might be slightly higher. Okay, 29 plus. So she didn't get the plus. Same hold as the 3 climbers above.
Yeah, don't forget this is
No
only provisional results, and there might still be some appeals. The coaches have time still after the official results to appeal if they are not okay with the jury, and then they can watch the video again and maybe change their opinion about the results. And it actually happens quite often to have appeals, and that the jury watch the video and says, okay, we didn't see it quite well, and then they just change.
So, for people that might be new to lead climbing, from an athlete's point of view, just explain what it means when it says plus. So we understand you get to hold 29, your score is 29. What is a plus?
So you have 2 options, or you hold a hole and then you just have the number of the hole as a result, or you can, if you are committing to the next move, then you can have a plus. But to have a plus, you really have to move the center of gravity of your body towards the next move. You cannot just fall and pretending going to the next move just by I don't know, like stretching your hand to
You
the
can't
next
just
hole.
like slap your hand as you fall. And
You really have to move your whole body towards the next hole in order to have the plus. And yeah, that's how we have the results.
so Yuki Hada's out in the men's. Very dynamic style.
Yeah, yet another Japanese. I saw him climbing this morning, and he climbed super fast. He was really climbing efficiently. He had like this rhythm from hole number 1 until the last one.
If you're just tuning in, by the way, and you were looking at your start list for the semi-finals, and you're wondering where Sean Bailey's got to in the men's competition, should have been between. But he did not take part. He missed the cut-off time at isolation here in Kranj. Really disappointing for Sean. Come over from California, especially. left behind a sunny California for a rainy Slovenia. Missed isolation. Remember, it's already happened this year. Martin Stranic, back in Kazo in the Boulder World Cup, he also missed isolation. If Martin's listening to this, I do apologise for reminding him. So Anne-Sophie Collin.
Come on, Anne-Sophie. Yep.
Beginning to battle here. But she's got the clip. She can battle without worrying about clipping for a couple more moves. She's got this big move up left to the next large volume though.
You can really see all the women, they are having trouble with the footholds there. They don't really know if they should put it on the right, on the left.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of falls like that on that, particularly on that section of the women's route where they haven't really fallen during a move. They just kind of slipped off whilst trying to figure it out.
Yeah, and they all seem a bit lost there. They don't really know what to do, and it's all about making a decision. Maybe there are a few options to were right, but you actually have to choose something, and if possible, quite fast.
Yuki's, as you say, he's got that really dynamic style, but quite similar build and haircut, I have to add, to Tomoe Narasaki. You could mistake the two of them, the way they climb and the size of them both.
And he looks super light when he's climbing.
He does, again, like Tomoe.
Like all the Japanese.
He looks light. It's a good description. And I think, I thought we were about to see another top. The route setters did say they'd like to see some tops. We often don't see them in semi-finals, but hey, it's the last World Cup of the year. It'd be good to see some tops.
They're pretty kind for the last World Cup. It's the end of the season. They didn't want to be too to the climbers.
And you can see there one of the problems with filming here in Kranj is the big metal bars which surround the top of the wall. Means we don't have an unrestricted view of the tops, unfortunately. Hey ho. Here's Jessie Pilz. Good to have her back wearing number 1.
Yeah, she faced an injury during the summer this year, so she had to recover from that one. But I think that's okay now. I don't know how her training has been for the few weeks right now.
Taito Nakagami out, meanwhile, on the men's route. Still very low down. Yeah, it's good to see Jessie back in the World Cups.
She's wearing number 1. Let's see if that's a good sign for her.
Just keep an eye top left on the screen. Women's results coming through.
Jessie is also from the strong generation of Anak, Salome, Julia. We will see Anak later, but we already saw Salome and Julia. They were all in the same category, and it was, I think, one of the strongest category ever. And each European Youth Cup or World Youth Championship, it was a battle between the 4 strong girls.
Well, it's going to be a battle in the future as well.
And now they are battling in the World Cups.
Just wait for next year though, because next year we'll be joined by Shima Shiraishi, who we saw in Guangzhou, sweeping all before her. So women's league climbing, I think, is going to be one of, if not the most competitive of the IFSC disciplines next year.
I would love to see the girls in the men's routes one day, and I'm sure that in a not too long time we might see them in the men's routes. It would be interesting.
Yeah, Jessie, perhaps not at 100% fitness after her injury, but she's so determined when she climbs.
Yeah, she has a good experience at competing as well, so even if she's not in her best shape, she has a lot of experience, you know, how to climb efficiently.
She was on the podium last year here in Kranj, second place. Already had a second this year as well in Briançon.
Yeah, so I guess she has a good memory and she wants to do the same.
Not the only Austrian that climbs well here. Jakob Schubert's made every final in every time he's competed here. 2 wins. Meanwhile, we'll focus on Jessie though, because she's up in this confusing section, and again, seems like there's infinite different ways to do these moves.
And here is Fedir, who was surprisingly strong this morning. He topped both qualifications, and he was, yeah, really impressive. He's still super young, still in the juniors.
I was about to say what became of Taito Nakagami, and we see it, pinch section. So on the women's route, just have a look at my list. We've got Molly Thompson-Smith of the UK. The UK had a very good year in female bouldering. Shauna Coxey winning the overall World Cup title. Molly Thompson-Smith. Timmermans, don't forget, hashtag IFSC WC if you'd like to ask Loic any questions. Certainly not rushing this men's route. As you say, climbed superbly this morning, topped both climbs.
Yeah, he has a lot of endurance. I saw him warming up and he was climbing for hours. Really, like most of the climbers would warm up just enough for the route in order to save some endurance, and he was just climbing. He has enough power.
Got a question from Noah Rocket Resentes. Sorry, Noah. How high are the walls there in Kranj? It's hard to get a gauge from the live. I believe the wall is 12 meters.
Yeah, maybe a bit more. I don't know. I would say a bit more.
Okay,
but maybe not much more. Yeah.
I have to confess,
it's a bit shorter than the usual World Cups, but around, yeah. It's one of the shorter walls for sure.
Yeah, definitely one of, if not the shortest we've seen this year
on a circuit. Yeah.
Up at 12 to 14 meters, we think. So Fedir, 2 tops in the qualifiers earlier today. Pretty good so far in this semi-final. Molly Thompson-Smith, meanwhile, bottom right of your screen. Right,
it is.
Hey,
it is how it is.
People are very quick to tell me when I'm wrong, so I'm all for that. I think it's great. I'm pretty sure that wasn't the right way to do it.
I mean, I would be impressed if he did the sequence taking the foothold, but and tell me wrong. I mean, I was wrong about the start of the route. I thought it was cameras fell.
So it's Slovenia in front of their home crowd. The last IFSC event of the year, I can't believe it, and here we are in Slovenia, and they've got 2 of their own to look at. Chelsea Kalan on the women's competition, she's on the main screen. Small screen is Urban Primedi. The women's results, keep an eye, there they come. Mathilde's still leading the way. And we're getting to the stage now. I'm just going to look how many climbers we've still got to come. This, Chiazza is the 8th to last climber, so if Mathilde is still top after Chiasa, then Matil is guaranteed a place in the final. We're getting to that stage where we can confirm finalists.
And Urban is out for his last semi-final in the World Cup of his career. I really hope he will make it to the finals. That would be a great end of this chapter of his life. Would be really nice.
Yeah, I had a chat with Urban today. That will be on the IFSC Facebook page tomorrow morning. It might be on now, actually. And he was really honest. He just said, I just kind of lost motivation to train.
Yeah, he also told me in Paris that he finished his studies this year, and I think he just wanna, he lost motivation. He wanna start working, I think, and just keep climbing, of course, but just for the fun and do maybe some national or some easy competitions.
It's a great life being a climber, as you know, but it's not always that easy being on the road. You've got to keep training, you've got to watch what you eat. Most climbers don't make a lot of money, and Urban was quite honest. You see it on the interview, he just said, want to do something else. So this will be his last World Cup.
I like climbers to be honest and to just say, well, I'm just not motivated anymore, and maybe I'm just doing I just stop, and I think it's good. I mean, you don't have to do something you don't want to do anymore, and
I think it's something that recreational climbers like me can identify with. Sometimes you're super motivated, can't really be bothered. So Urban decided no more competitions. I think he's still pretty motivated to climb. This is the end of the competition for him in his hometown. How he would love to make a final. 2 finals already this year, Wieland Brianson. There's and Chiasa, that won't be enough for the final, and she doesn't look happy about it. Urban, meanwhile, powering through. Now he should go right hand, now left hand out onto the volume underneath the crimp underneath the roof. There it is.
And now right there, that's
well,
good.
If he's lost his motivation for training, it certainly isn't showing, because he looks super strong. That move to the left hand has looked hard a couple of times, but Urban cruising it here, and the crowd really enjoying this. I don't think this will be the last time we're going to see Urban on the live stream, because I think he's going to be in the final
tomorrow. Come on. No.
So close from Urban.
I really hope that's enough. But
I really do hope that's enough, Already had 3 tops, so that'll put him in, I think, joint 4th, because who else did we see slap for the top but not quite make it?
The Japanese guy, I think.
I'm trying to remember. We'll see. I'm pretty sure that ties him in 4th place.
And there are still 4 climbers to go, so that should be okay. But let's see how it goes. But
it's going to be touch and go. Yeah, in the men's competition, 4 climbers still to go. I'm just looking at my list. Sean McCall, he'll be out next. I'm backing Sean for the win. No real reason, to be honest. Just think he'll win. Stefano Gasofia, Jakub Schubert and Domin Skofic still to come.
Sebastian Helenke is right here, and we are saying congratulations.
And nothing personal to Loic, but we're going to have a very temporary substitution. Very special guest. Please introduce yourself to the live stream audience.
Well, hello first of all, and finally being back here in the live stream again, but this time right after my climbing. Well,
we have Sebastian Helenke. 1 second. got Sebastian Hallenke here alongside me. And just tell us, sorry, we're just having one or two technical issues. Tell us how the route was as we watch Hannah Schubert and Sean McCall. What was that men's route like?
Well, actually it was a pretty long and sustained route. For me, first of all, it looked like pretty hard and powerful in the observation, but when I climbed on it, all the movements felt quite easier than they actually looked like, and yeah, I was liking the route. It was pretty endurance-based in my opinion, but the movements were all quite nice and relatively open, which I like quite a lot. And then just like really the last few movements were kind of hard, but everywhere you could always find some position again to shake out a small time your hands at least once or twice. So in this way I managed to top the route, yeah, pretty good. I mean, especially the last movement was very close for me that I fell.
Yeah, we could see you fighting at the top those last few moves.
Yeah, I mean the movements before weren't even that hard. I just didn't really know the sequence with the pinches right. I was intending to take them purely as pinches, but in this way it wasn't the best solution. So I needed to switch my plan a little bit. But when I got the beta to do it, it wasn't actually too hard. And then, yeah, the last movement was for sure pretty hard, but I'm just super happy I've done it. And finally, I'm the first time in finals here in Kranj, and so often I've been just close but never in.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for joining us. That's the last time you'll stand near the commentary box. You won't make that mistake again.
Yeah, well, thank you a lot, and I'm really looking forward to climb tomorrow.
Well, we're looking forward to watching you, so thanks very much.
Thank you a lot, and I'm glad you will be watching.
So we'll watch Hannah Schubert having a really good battle with this women's route. Hannah, of course, on a couple of the live streams in Guangzhou in the World Youth Championship, did a fantastic job. Even commentated on speed, which isn't her specialist discipline, and doing a fantastic job on this women's route. Keeping an eye, top left of your screen, on the women's results as they stand. Hannah just shaking out, but figured out that quite confusing section really well, and now really into the last 7 or 8 moves of this women's route. And getting it right, goes with the left, working the right hand up that volume, low it.
Wow.
And Loet Timmermans is back. She is not giving up here, Hannah Schubert. This is a fantastic performance.
I think this means it's her first finals for her.
Yes, this will be a comfortable lead for her.
Because then there are only 6 girls to go, so she's in the finals. Great for her.
Meanwhile, we saw just one last go for Hannah. Let's have another look. Stefano Gasolfi. So we saw Sean McCall come very, very close to a top, but not quite top the route. Meanwhile, in the men's competition.
He kind of slipped on the end of the route, I think.
Let's have another look. Here it is.
Yeah, right there. With his right hand, he slipped there.
Apologies for the technical issues when we got hold of Sebastian Hallenke. We had 1 or 2 issues as we swapped the headset over. We couldn't quite hear each other, but we got there in the end. It's good to get his input. He sounded pretty enthusiastic, pretty happy with his performance. And as he said, he can't wait to be on the live stream again tomorrow. In front of the camera, he doesn't want to be in the commentary box.
The camera. So it's great to see Hannah in the finals. She's been really close to finals the whole season. She's been 9th or 10th a couple of times. And she had a great time, I think, in the World Youth Championships last week. She was 2nd in the leads, and yeah, I think she's just in great shape, and she just show it right now. She also has a great fighting spirit. When you see her brother Jakob, they both have this really good mindset when they climb, and it's good to see them as a family climbing really hard.
There's Stefano Gasolfi, winner of the last World Cup in Xiamen. But yeah, Hannah Schubert, she had me laughing on the live stream in Guangzhou. Actually, she was saying how competitive her brother is, and she was saying, when you live with Jakob, everything is a competition. who can eat the most? Who can run up the stairs the fastest? Everything is a competition. So she's used to competing.
Yeah, I think
but
this is just a competition. So
I was kind of hoping she might want to do some live streaming tomorrow, but she should be in the final.
Yeah.
I'd rather see her in the final than on the live stream for sure. It's great to see. She really battled that women's route, and will take a healthy lead. Route setters, as we mentioned earlier, Jan Zabraniak, who we talked to, is one of our route setting team, working under Christian Bindhammer, the chief route setter for the event. Jan said he thought they'd get 3 tops in the men's competition and 2 in the women's. We've already had 3 in the men's. I think he's going to underestimate that, but we haven't had any in the women's, so we shall see. Will his predictions be right? I think Stefano can top this route. Recently moved to Arco in Italy. Not a bad place to live as they go.
You just moved to Arco, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, formerly lived in Torino, Turin, and now lives in Arco. It's a hard life. Just see there, getting slightly tired. That clip looked like it took a bit out of him. You can see he's beginning to fight, but he's hanging on. We've seen 3 climbers now, including Sean McCall, in the final few moves and not quite make it. So it's not in the bag until the rope's clipped and you're on the way down. But he has clipped the last quick draw before the top, just so you can get some idea of where he's up to.
I think he has enough power still left to go to the top here.
Yeah, but with Jakob Schubert and Domen Skofic still to come, I think at the very least you're going to have to slap for the top hold, if not top the route to make the final, and that is.
And he goes directly to the.
Goes directly to the top hold, and once he gets his feet sorted, he can clip, and there it is. Grabs the scaffolding.
Almost, yeah. I think he didn't quite like the last hole and just thought, okay, I just go to the last one directly.
Christine Schranz, meanwhile, of Austria, I don't think will have done enough to make the final.
Yeah, she also fell at this confusing sequence. I don't think the route setters planned this sequence to be that hard.
Speaking of the route setters, we had a question earlier. I'm just finding it from Michael Mayer about the route setters. Could you tell us about the process of creating a route? How long does it take? Well, sorry, Michael, we don't have one with us here now. We often do have them on the live stream. If we have one tomorrow, send your question again, or just send me a reminder. I will put it to them. I mean, to give you some idea, the route setters are normally here at least 3-4 days in advance of the climbers, and the amount of tweaking these routes take, they'll put up the basics of the route, and then they'll try it, tweak it. Is it too hard? Is it too easy? Does it really suit one climber more than another? They're always trying to make the routes completely fair. So I'd say in total the route setters probably work, what would you say, 4 or 5 days before a league competition?
Yeah, I would say something like that, yeah.
It's a long process.
Yeah, depending on the competition, they don't choose the holes, I think. Like in Kranj, it's always one type of holes, and so they always have to choose among some holes that they have, and yeah, then they are free to imagine whatever they want. And depending on the route setter, it will be more or less bouldery, more or less funny moves. Some route setters like to put some dynos, some like just classic old school routes, so it's really up to the route setter, to his creativity, imagination.
So we got two legends of the sport out now at the the end of the semi-finals, we're really getting the big names. Jakob Schubert won here twice in Kranj, never missed the final in all his appearances here. And that's not me cursing him, he put that on social media himself, that's not me creating the statistics. Don't blame me if it goes wrong. It's, hopefully not tempting fate, Jakob. I don't think he is. This is a wall he likes and gets on with. Meanwhile, Akira Noguchi, who we normally see mainly bouldering, but increasingly we're seeing him more and more leading. She climbed really well in the qualifiers. She really, really cruised both routes. I was really impressed with her today. I expect to see her in the final, and personally I think I expect to see her on the podium. I think she really is in good form. We shall see.
Yeah, she was in finals in Xiamen, so she's in good shape. And Jakob is skipping 2 holes right now, so yeah.
Yeah, he's
You want to go fast to the top, I think.
Always gone well here, Jakob. And so far going pretty well in 2016. Just setting himself.
He's also ready also to. He might be winning the overall. He has still a chance, I think.
Yeah, I was trying to avoid mentioning the overall. No, Jakob needs to win in order to win the overall.
I know
basically.
that he has to win, and Domen has to be somewhere around the 6th or 7th place.
If Jakob wins and Domen is 6th or lower, then Jakob is the winner of the overall.
Okay.
But I'm saving the overall for tomorrow because it's.
Yeah, sure.
But no, it's fine.
Of course.
It's okay. I was ready with my statistics. But pressure's certainly on Domen. He's got to, if he doesn't make the final, it's going to be a pretty nervous afternoon watching tomorrow.
Yeah. And I know Domen doesn't like the World Cup in Kranj actually, because I think it's a lot of pressure. I'm not sure he really likes the wall, but I know he has had like some hard times here with handling pressure. But last year he made finals, and I think now he knows how to handle the pressure after this kind of season. So I hope we have a nice battle of endurance tomorrow.
So Jakob and Akira Noguchi also going well here. Not yet high enough to match Hannah Schubert, but that will be enough for second. That'll see Akio through pretty safely, very safely in fact. 4 climbers still to go. What a 4 it is. Mina Markovic, Jane Kim, Anak Verhoeven and Jenny Garnbrett. Meanwhile, Jakob looking pretty promising here. Got his tongue out, showing how hard he's trying. But he's got enough in the tank to top. It's not the most sympathetic top hold.
Yeah.
But he gets the job done.
Ooh, almost hitting Akio.
Almost, and then almost hitting the judges' table.
And almost landing on the table, yeah.
So Jakob Schubert, he'll be through. Domen Skofic, he's out. So there we go, 5 tops. So the route setters did underestimate the men. Nice to see there, Urban, he will be through. Sean McCall, 8th place.
That's gonna be really hard to make it to the finals, especially because you said he would win tomorrow.
So we're just waiting for a Keo score. Pretty sure she'll be in 2nd place. She won't be in 1st, but she will be in 2nd. Or
she will be 2nd.
She will be 2nd. Mathilde, so that means Mathilde will go through, yeah, with 4 climbers still to come. Mina Markovic back in competitions. Yeah, Sean McCall, I don't really believe in fate or tempting fate, but yeah, sorry Sean. Did say I thought he was going to win, and now he's sitting in 8th with leader of the overall standings still to come.
It's still quite crazy to fall on the very last hole of the route and still not be in the finals.
Yeah,
maybe the route was a bit too easy. Maybe.
It was a funny fall from Sean. We saw a good replay of it.
Yeah, especially slipping. I mean, that's really
kind of a
unfortunate.
slip slash fall. Excuse me. Mina, meanwhile, looked very good in the qualifiers. She's always looks in good shape, Mina, but I have to say she looks really light now. When you see her close up, she looks skinny. She looks in really good shape.
Yeah, she does. She had some troubles in the first competitions this year, and then because she decided to train a bit less, I think, than the other years.
Yeah, she wasn't really planning on doing a full season, was she? And she wasn't planning on competing at all, yeah.
And when she decided I think competitions were just missing, and she just likes it too much, and so she came back, and yeah, she trained a lot, and now she's just super strong again.
So Slovenia are out now. Mina, main screen, small screen on the right is Domen. We will mention the overall. Domen, if he clinches 6th place here in Kranj, he is the overall champion for 2016 in the League World Cups. So 6th place or above is good enough for him. He's had a fantastic season. But he is vulnerable if he can't take 6th, and obviously if he doesn't make the final, as I said earlier, he's going to have an awfully nervous few hours tomorrow afternoon. We're live with the finals 4:30 local time. You don't want to miss that. Final IFSC action of 2016, all to play for in the men's event. Women's already decided with Janja Garmret. The other podium positions still up for debate though. And Mina, you can see how strong she is. That hold has looked terrible to some climbers, but Mina,
she's just resting,
chalking up. Yeah. Chatting to a few of Mina's close friends, and they were saying she is in really good shape right now. But we would love to see her in the final in front of the home crowd. A legend of the sport.
I think she's also wondering about what she has to do next. She doesn't really. I think she has to go shoulder, like right behind the boulder.
Yeah, a lot of the climbers have been getting confused with this section.
And I think she's doing it a bit wrong. She wants to go left to a foothold, but it's a foothold, so.
I think she might have figured out the same thing.
She wants to cross to a foothold.
But it's come back now.
She's still going, for the shoulder.
She's got the right beater. There we go, they're right next to each other.
And then she has to go again, left at the shoulder. And again.
She's just struggling to read it. Domen, meanwhile, no problem reading it. He's taking a good long rest.
Yeah, that's the right beater.
Now Domen goes, so he'll go right hand cross through. Keep an eye on Mina though. Just about sticks the left hand. There's a big roar from this Slovenian crowd. That is the last quick draw before the top for Mina. If she clips the rope again, it will be at the top of the route.
Come on, Mina. Still some moves to go before the top. Here she has to take the blue volume manacling, which looks really, really bad.
It looks pretty heinous. You can see the top above her, but the route to it involves going out right and then coming back to the left. It's not as close as it may look.
And this is a really physical move here.
And the Slovenian crowd really getting into this because both climbers right near the top of their routes. Domen needs a place in the final.
And the crowd is really going wow.
And he gets it. Amina will be in the final. She doesn't top the route, but she does enough, so that was a pretty good 2 minutes for Slovenia. Let's have another look. She just about held that.
She just nailed it. Yeah.
She's so strong. Even with the big swings, she never really looked like falling.
And you don't see her often taking that kind of swings and jumping like that.
So Domen Skovic will be added to that list. It will be 6 tops. And he is the last climber, so Sean McCall is out. Right, well that is the last time, no ifs, no buts, that I ever make a prediction.
From Korea. Well, welcome to Slovenia.
So we know Domen's result. Tops the route, so 6 tops on the men's result. On the men's route, double what the route setters were predicting. And the nice news from the centre men's 3 climbers still to go. So Mina Markovic, Hannah Schubert, Akina Gucci, Matteo Becerra, Yuka Kobayashi are all guaranteed their place in the final. Really glad to see Yuka there again for sentimental reasons. Julia Shanodi, Katerina Poch, all looking on nervously. Here's Jane Kim. Very consistent season this year, mainly been 3rd behind Yanya Gambra and Anak Mahoon. But she's more than capable of winning.
She also has one of the most smooth styles of the circuit. She's one of the slower climbers and she's really focused on every move. You will never see her slipping or making a big mistake on a move. She will always get the beat as right and have everything 100% controlled.
So you can see there, top left of your screen, Yuki Harder is the 8th finalist. Meanwhile, no Sean McCall, no Tom Yuan, Francisco Veterato, Gautier. Some big names missing out. Fede, who climbed really well in the qualifiers, he won't be there. Taito Nakagami again, might have hoped to be slightly higher up. Sasha Lehman, another climber, as well as Kachiro Koranaga. Unfortunately, no Sean Bailey. Sean, of course, missed isolation. He didn't make it.
He still got 1 point.
Well, yeah, the judges awarded him 1 point.
I don't know why, but I think it's just a mistake.
26th place is not a mistake though, that's where Sean will finish unfortunately. Climbers have to be in isolation at a certain time. It's a very clearly designated time, obviously the reason being that that's when the route setters can start work, safe in the knowledge that none of the climbers will see the routes. And if you're not there on time, there's no appeal unfortunately for Sean. Yeah, as we were saying, Jane Kim, great to watch. I find myself saying the same things every time when Jane's climbing, but it's just great to watch. I guess if you can make something look easy, something difficult look easy, then you are a master of it.
Yeah.
Jane Kim, very much a master of climbing. It's quite that move up to the left on the arete. It's quite a big move for a climber Jane's size, but we did see a fall there earlier. But no such worries for Jane.
She doesn't like to take too many risks, and sometimes some movements are just when you have to make a dyno or a big move, sometimes you have to risk a bit, and that's when she doesn't like it sometimes. But she always find a way to still do it statically.
Now what will be interesting is to watch how Jane gets on with the complicated moves as they've become known that she's about to enter. There's a few kind of physical moves now and then it gets quite complicated. Even these moves here we've seen various different methods.
Yeah, I think she'll find a way. For sure.
Just setting herself, Jane. 3rd place last time out in Xiamen. Same result as she had in Imst and Vila and Chamonix. What a consistent season though. I'll just run you down her results. So Xiamen 3rd, World Championships in Paris 4th, Arco 2nd, Imps 3rd, Duyun in China Asia Continental Championship 3rd, Briançon World Cup 4th, Villar 3rd, Chamonix 3rd. So worst result in an international competition this year of 4th. None too shabby from Jane Kim.
Yeah, quite cool. But I mean, Yan Kim has been winning World Cups for a couple of years. She has won the overall. So I think for her it's not enough, and she's really waiting for a win this year. And maybe Kranj will be it.
Yeah, she's won 25 lead World Cups, Jane Kim, and the Boulder World Cup. So,
Yeah,
although it's been a consistent season, it's perhaps not, by her high standards, not her best season.
so a podium is not enough.
Yeah, you're right. In the thin air of elite climbers, she wants to be winning, not on the podium.
I'm quite curious to see her jumping on the next move, where we saw Mina getting her feet off. Now she really will have to
She
jump
will have
and
to
commit.
jump, yeah.
Nice.
And very like Mina, controlled the swing nicely.
Yeah. That's a really great job from the Roosters.
There we see Mina score 43 and a slip from Jane.
That's something we don't see often from Jane, a slip.
That'll be enough for a place in the final, but it won't be the way she would have wanted to go through. You want to go through really confident, climbing well. Let's say she'll make it.
Yeah, she's surprised, I think, because she was still really fresh, and she wanted to clip the quick draw on the left there, and her foot wasn't really right.
Yeah, she didn't want to get too far away from that quick draw. We see there one of our technicians take a picture of Jane. Slightly different body shapes. Jane Kim and our technician there.
And here we have my Belgian friend Anak.
Yes, of course, if you watched our the replay of our coverage in Xiamen, you'll have seen Loic Timmermans trying out his interviewing skills on Anak Verhoeven. Live in Xiamen. Already 6 weeks ago, Xiamen. Amazing, it's been that long since the last lead World Cup. So, we know what to expect from Anak, very controlled climber.
After China, Anak decided to have a break in Spain, where she climbed some super hard routes in Tirana. She went there and she climbed an 8C plus on her second go, I think. La Reina Mora.
My version of a break is clearly quite different from Anak Verhoeven. She had a break and went and climbed some really hard routes.
She wanted to have some fun and enjoy climbing. And well, yeah. She happened to climb a route.
A change is often as good as a rest, you know, when your motivation's down or you just want to change. Often you can climb your best after that. Certainly I find that at my very, very low level.
Yeah, it's really important to be in shape, but I think it's even more important to be motivated. And if you feel that your motivation is getting down because you always train indoor, especially in Belgium, we have almost only climbing gyms. We don't have a lot of outdoor rock climbing. And yeah, we basically train the whole year through indoor, and it can be really tiring, especially regarding motivation. So in the end of the year, it's important to be outside a bit to escape the indoor gyms.
She's had a fantastic year, Anak. It's easy to forget almost because Janja Gambret's been so dominant, but Anak has been right behind all the way. And it took a World Cup win herself in Arco. That was a great evening. She's been so close so many times. To finally get over the line, it's fantastic. But as I say, she's so often this year, she's just been behind Janja Garnbret.
Yeah, it's been great to see Janja and Anak. This year they've been really close the whole season through, and especially in Paris it was really close between both of her.
Oh, that was a heartbreaker for Anak. That was so close.
Really, yeah.
But as I say, she got her World Cup win in Arco. And I think everyone...
And what a win, because she really...
What a win.
All the girls had difficulties pretty low on the routes, and Anak just cruised the route to the top, and yeah, she topped the four routes of the World Cup and claims her first World Cup victory.
So the men's competition already concluded. If you're just tuning in, just come home from the pub, tuning in for the end of this coverage here in Kranj. The men's competition all over. We'll confirm the 8 finalists for you very shortly, but meanwhile we're focused on Anak Verhoeven, who is the second to last climber. Someone called Janja Garnbret is out next. Presume she's quite good. Qualified first.
Yeah.
Anak would love to finish the year on a high though with a World Cup win. To take 2 wins as opposed to just 1, I think would give her huge confidence, especially after so many second place finishes. Second in Vienna, the World Championships in Paris and Xiamen. She'd love another win.
I hope she can find the beta here, the right sequence.
Yeah, the route setters said that their guess was that her and Janja would top this route. So we'll see.
Yeah. That was the guess, yeah. She chose to go shoulder, which is the right beta. Now she has to go shoulder again to the big yellow one. Let's see if she understood this right, and I think she's right there. And now she has to cross again to the thumb. But she just hold a foothold there. Now it's the dynamic move. Come on, Anak.
Now completely different method.
She didn't want to do that.
She does it statically and with the other hand. Now that's
And
really
she's
clever.
skipping the move, yeah.
That's really clever from Anak, because it
Great,
meant she
Anak.
could clip and then reverse the move
Yeah.
and went back and didn't have to risk the jump. Great stuff from Anak.
She's looking really solid here.
Yeah, she'll be in the final. We know that. She's done more than enough to make the final now. It's just a case of how far she can go.
She knows that the final result can be right now if tomorrow they do the same with Janja, so she knows she has to top or it can be really important.
Well, that's something that we've seen a lot in this Women's League competition in the World Cups this year. It's come down to count back.
Yeah.
And as you say,
because if there are tied tomorrow, it's count back, and then it can be important to be the first or
yeah, to climb well in the semi-finals has been vital a few times this year. Could be vital today.
Come
and
on.
Anak Verhoeven
She's looking for the hole. Oh!
Anak Verhoeven so close to putting in the perfect semi-final performance. She had her hand on the top hold.
Yeah, I don't think she saw the hole there, and she was looking. Even now, she's still a bit confused. She didn't see the hole, I think, and
it's a good hold. It'd be interesting when we see that again. Here we go.
Yeah, she was looking for and then.
And we can't quite see the hold. The whole volume moved, actually. That can't help. But anyway, she'll certainly be in the final. She's, for now, in first place. There we go. This is
another view.
The angle. This is one of the problems with having poles everywhere in front of your cameras. So she had her hand on the hold, and it's a good hold. It seems strange that she would fall there, but hey-ho.
I think she was surprised on getting on the hole, and she I'm not sure.
So we see there, Anak top for now. So Julia Chanori, she'll be watching this nervously. 8th place. I have to say, the way that Janja Garmbret's climbed this year, I think Julia might well be disappointed. It would be a big surprise if Janja was not to make the final here in Kranj.
I think she only made podiums this year except in Imst. I think Imst was the only World Cup where she didn't make podium. She made finals the whole year through, so there are a lot of chances to see her tomorrow in the finals.
Yeah, her results this year are frankly ridiculous. I'll quickly run you through them while she's on this lower section of the route. So she started out giving bouldering a go. 5th and a 2nd in the 2 World Cups. She entered European Youth Cup in lead in Imps. She won that. She then won the World Cup in Chamonix, the one in Villars, the one in Briançon. Her version of a bad day in Imps, where she got 5th. And then it was 3rd in Arco, won the World Championships, won the World Cup in Xiamen to claim the overall title in the Women's Lead World Cups, and then won bouldering and lead in the Guangzhou Youth World Championships, and now she's here in Kranj. Not bad. Not bad.
Not bad.
I can just tell you there's a very happy looking Hannah Schubert in front of our commentary position. She got here about 15 minutes ago. She's been chatting to Molly Thompson-Smith and hasn't stopped smiling since she got here.
Yeah, I think she's happy. Well,
Janja Garmbret's had a pretty perfect 2016 from start to finish. Hannah Schubert has had a perfect finish to 2016. And you can't wipe the smile off her face. So we will watch Janja. You have to say it would be a big surprise if we had anything to say other than she's doing just fine. But you never know. This move up to the next volume has caught out a few very good climbers so far today.
Yeah, it's interesting to compare with the other girls and see how she's just sometimes cruising some really hard sequences.
No problems so far, including that move up to the hold I was just talking about.
Let's see if she gets the next sequence right, where Mina and Anak had some problems with the sequence. She didn't really know which hand first. Oh, and she's trying another beta.
That looked quite a risky way of doing it, and what's quite interesting, you might be able to hear the crowd clapping, but perhaps even at 17, they almost expect Janja's dominance. There's not been that much crowd reaction as she makes her way up this route. It's quite extraordinary, really. It's as if they're just kind of waiting for her to do it easily.
They just expect her to top and
but that move to the right that she did that we haven't seen the other climbers do, that looked quite a tricky move. It didn't look 100%.
She's just making it harder.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
No problem for her.
But as we mentioned, count back to previous rounds has been a big factor in quite a few of the Women's World Cups this year. And Anak Verhoeven has been caught out by that, and she didn't manage to top the route here. She had her hand on the top hold, but didn't top the route. And you hope that won't come back to haunt her, because it wouldn't be the first time this year. So
let's see if Janja can add another top this year.
The route setters believed she would top the route. Will they be right? We shall see. Hasn't looked overly taxed up to this point. She'll certainly be in the final. Can she top the route? Eyes the top hold.
Oh.
There it is, and Anak Verhoeven will be
there
watching. She'll be watching that and thinking, I really wish I'd stuck that top move. We'll see. It's a long way to go, and tomorrow is a new day. But that's a big statement from Janja Garnbret ahead of tomorrow's final. Let's have another look. Goes up with the right hand. Boom, there it is. Big swing. That left leg flew right out, but it is a good hold. She hung on to it. She's having a word with the crowd. I thought not.
A Slovenian.
We'll have a look at the results. Men first. Can confirm you eight finalists. 8 finalists. So Stefano Gisolfi, he'll be joined by Jakub Schubert, Domen Skofic, Roman de Grange. So those three, by the way, Jakub, Domen and Roman, they're the only three that can win the overall title. They're all into the final, along with Sebastian Halenka, Dmitry Fakiryanov, Urban Primozic in his last ever World Cup, and Yuki Hada. Sean McCall and Toma Johannes, they miss out, 9th and 10th. Francesco Vetterata, Gautier Zuppa, we might have expected to see him in the final, but no joy for them. Fedor as well of Ukraine. He climbed really well in the qualifiers but didn't get on with the semi-final route. You can see down there Sasha Lehmann, Kachiro Koronaga, might have expected to see a bit higher up. Sean Bailey missed isolation, didn't take part today, but the judges very kindly have given him a score of 1 instead of 0. He's still in 26th place, didn't compete today. Here's the women's results. That looks very familiar, doesn't it? Janja Garnbret, top. She's already won the overall for 2016. She has made a big statement here in the semi-finals. Could cement it with a win tomorrow. Anna Verhoeven will join her in the final, as will Mina Markovic. Hannah Schubert, Jane Kim, Akia Noguchi, Matteo Becerra and Yuka Kobayashi climbing in her last ever World Cup. Julia Shanodi and Katarina Posch just miss out. Lower down the order, Jessica Pilz coming back from injury, wasn't quite at 100%. She's 13th. Kaiser, we might have expected place in the final. She ends up 12th. Britain's Molly Thompson-Smith 14th, and Iona Risa Ota. Again, Christine Schranz and Anne-Sophie Koller would have been hoping for a place in the final, but no joy. And Vita Lukan and Rebecca Karmin, both of Slovenia, 19th and 20th. Salome Roman, she came out and looked really good early on, but just those confusing moves stopped her. She ends up 21st. Chiasa Kalan and Mia Krampel, fresh from the Youth World Championships, 24th and 26th in front of a home crowd. So, big thank you to Loic Timmermans for joining me. Fantastic semi-final. Just quickly before you go, predictions for tomorrow. Who are we going to see winning in the men and the women?
In the men, I would say winning. Domen, I hope so. So we have a proper win. And in the girls, I'm really hoping for Anak, of course, because she's my teammate. But I think Janja is really looking strong too.
We heard it here first. Okay, we'll be back tomorrow with the finals, 4:30 p.m. Slovenian time. We'll see you then.